Little Ham says it's time to rock and roll.
Bring the noise.
This season and where this title might end up. I'm going to ask all three of you. I'll start with you, John. Your thoughts?
I don't know if it's actually hit his hand, because you look at the power of the head here. I think that's a head. I know I'm looking at my maroon tinted spectacles here, but his hand's up, and if it's hit his hand, of course it's a penalty. But look at the power he gets on that. That's a head.
You're not seeing it through maroon tinted spectacles. I mean,
that's a head.
For that to fly off his head at that pace, it quite clearly. Yes, his hand's it, but if your hand hits a ball, it's just going to drop right in front of you. It's not going to fly off it like that. And I tell you, I mean, it's three massive calls in the last three games. The penalty kick at Motherwell on Saturday night, the red card against Alistair Johnson Saturday, and that there tonight is incredible. And there'll be serious questions asked about it, and rightly so.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good evening again, folks, from E-Tims. My name is Desi and welcome to yet another E-Tims podcast. This must be the third in a week. I am glad to say we have a full house, so good evening to our resident tactician, Hector Bandido. Good evening, Hector.
Evening, guys.
Thanks for joining, and also the pilot of the Tarrier Carrier from sunny Stoke. Good evening, Ralph Malf.
Good evening, how are we doing?
All good, thank you very much. We'll get to that in a second. And a surprise entrant, we thought he may be jet-setting about the globe, but he's managed to join us, Monty C. Burns. I'm wondering what the C would stand for. Good evening, Monty, tonight.
Good evening, lads. I was going to say shattered nerves, but that would be an alliteration on C-H. Fucking crucified.
Surely it should be, if it Graham Spears, this is the word he used, conspired.
Conspired.
That was the word he used. I said that's a very strong word for Graham Spears.
Collusion.
Colluded. Yeah, colluded. So we'll come to that. We'll come to that later. So welcome, folks. Thank you for joining us in yet another podcast. We are only got a few left before the end of the season, but we did promise that we would jump on if maybe something small and significant happened in between now and the end of the season. So the last pod was post the Maeda Magic, the sensational overhead kick to beat the Huns, and then we move forward to face the tricky game against Motherwell. So this was last night. This is the day after the night before. So Hector, just a quick recap. Were you nervous yesterday before the game? Because there seemed to be the Tims in my work all seem to have a bit of butterflies in the stomach yesterday.
Aye, I think because we're coming to the proper business part, aren't we? It's just the two games to go, and it was a bit of nerves. Wasn't overly nervous, but you're going to get some nerves. I wasn't overly bad. I've been far worse before, but no, I felt quietly confident without being, too confident, if that makes sense.
Okay, yep, certainly fair. So it was one of those ones. I tweeted, "No, you're the person who left work early because they couldn't concentrate on anything else." Ralph, let's just get up to speed with the actual game. I don't think there was much of a surprise that Taneki got the start over McCowan. But Ralph, I don't know. I'm just coming to you on this subject quickly, but you might not have heard anything. Did you hear anything about the Police Scotland handling of the Celtic fans last night? Because before the game, for about 20 minutes, all it was pictures of Celtic fans standing like hundreds of yards away from Fir Park. They'd closed a gate, and this basically Celtic fans said they're all just standing there, not having a clue what's happening. And the steward just went, "That's what happens when you deal with Police Scotland," according to the guy in Axomedy. So I just wondered if you'd heard that, Ralph, if you're a resident.
I haven't heard anything, but I remember at Fir Park, the away end, I think you threw a big gate to get down to that end. Mm-hmm. You come off the road, and it happened before. That has happened before.
So apparently they closed the gate. Eventually they opened it. So eventually the game starts. Monty, did you manage to catch it, Monty, on your travels?
I literally stepped off a flight and jumped into my car, and I had about a 180-mile drive ahead of me. And unlike Hector, I was incredibly nervous for last night. So I stuck Kneecaps' new album on to distract myself. Fenian, fucking great, by the way.
What an album.
Oh, man. Just to distract myself. And during the drive, Desi, I committed some small motoring offences. by checking my phone and a very quick chronology because we'll go on to it. First check, Hearts will be champions as it stands. Well, bollocks. 20 minutes later, second check, we're going to the final day of the season, my 8 equalising. Third check, we're 2-1 up, Hearts are 3-0 up, and I'm thinking, okay, we're definitely going to the last game of the season. Then I check it again, and I went, oh, for fuck's sake. And all the while, I'm just trying to distract myself. And I allowed myself one more peek, Desi, and it was, he's been asked to go to VAR. It's on the BBC feed, and I'm pretty certain that the guy that does that has to be a Hun, because you can read the tone. He's fucking
BBC, you sure? You sure?
He's fucking devastated. But I was that nervous, Desi, I didn't even check to see if we'd scored it until I got into the hotel. And then I just erupted laughing. Just
right. So for the benefit of Georgia listener and myself, at any point was a 6 check, you are now entering free dairy, because that sounded like a journey to me. It was going to end up with you are now entering free dairy. The Finian album just directed you to dairy.
Oh, fucking hell. Oh man, nerves shattered, Desi, and I wasn't even watching it. So I'm looking forward to watching it. I'm gonna watch it tonight on +1 and back home. So I'm really looking forward to watching it now.
I just say watch the game. Actually watch the game, because it is a good game.
Yeah.
And we'll probably come to this in a minute when Desi asks. But it's a good game, and also they fucking played really well last patches. Right.
Everything I've read, Hector, points me to that. Now I'm really looking forward to seeing how this guy's set up against us. So.
Yes, yeah, okay, we'll come to that in a second, but just quickly just talking about kneecap, and I've just literally taken the kneecap background off to replace it with my There's Magic tonight. Hector, you have been advocating for kneecap to support Oasis at Celtic Park next year in the 4 or 5 night gig in the sunny East End.
Can you imagine?
You and Mikey Nicholson sitting in this. I'll give you my main stand seat if you like.
Celtic Park, 4 nights, Oasis next summer with kneecap support. Can you imagine? I mean,
I don't think Oasis would let that happen, because kneecap would be the attraction. Oasis would just be the old guys that come out at the end.
It's a bit like this podcast, to be honest. Maybe we'll get Monty on.
Oh, fuck, you know, cunt as well.
Well, that reminds me, special shout out to Tongo and Sully Shamrock, 2 guys heading east but listening in. So good luck today, guys, and their adventures east. Right, so we get to the game last night. Fir Park, as the guys have hinted at there was the chance that Jens Askow's Motherwell Harlem Globetrotter style would turn up. And we thought Celtic would be galvanised from a really good showing against Rangers, especially in the second half. Did it work out that way, really?
First half hour, 30, 35 minutes, they were by far. It wasn't even close. And we were trying to press. No, but it's not as if we weren't. We couldn't get near them. We were press. We were outside the box with 5 players in the group, but they were so smart in what they were doing. And remember, this is the thing we've saying for ages. With far inferior players. Our players are levels above them, right? And it's all about the coaching. And they were just edge of their box. They were getting us to come out. Remember, this isn't 1 or 2. This is pressing a group of 5 or 6. And they were just bypassing us like wee triangles, or dinking at 30 metres, 35 metres to switch play pace, quick touch move. And as we've been saying all season, they're just a fucking good team to watch, considering the quality of player they've got. And that first 35 minutes, they never created a lot of chances, but you always had the feeling that any minute now they could be in and goal. And they got their goal with a bit of deflection, but they outplayed us for 35 minutes. Easily outplayed us that first half. Yeah, I don't know what you thought, but that's what I thought.
No, so I apologise to yourselves and the listeners for going on and on about this, but there was one point where that Motherwell team, they're so composed on the ball, and it's across the whole team. I mean, as you say, like, we're meant to have players that are far above international experienced players, etc. But I just cannot comprehend how Celtic cannot bring the ball out safely or play it across the back safely. They always look as though they're shitting themselves, and we're always a second away from disaster. Whereas last night, there was one aspect last night with the Motherwell, the ball went across the goal, and the 2 centre halves are spread wide as normal. but the goalie's got the ball and he just passes it 10 yards immediately forward. No, like with all the confidence in the world that the midfielder's going to come and collect it. Whereas we never seem to have that composure. And I don't understand how we don't have that composure with the players that meant to be at our level. Is it pressure? Is it pressure that gets them?
He had last came in and ball bounced the first at Motherwell. They were really, including the round cup when they played a couple of low league, they were really poor. But they stuck with it. Every player knows exactly what they've got to do and where their teammates are going to go to. And it's just like clockwork. And as you say, every chance they get is a forward pass. Either that quick 5-10 metre pass in front with players running off it to support them. And see if a team really presses them, they'll go long. They'll go over the top of defence with guys with pace up wide, or they'll go 30 metres to a striker or a false nine, which they kind of played last night with that New Zealand boy, falling out deep. And it was just watching, and I'm thinking to myself, if Askew had a chance to run Celtic and build a team starting this summer with the resources we have in terms of wages and everything, we could have a fabulous team. But anyway, that's probably a conversation later on, I suspect, another podcast. But they were a joy to watch. And we'll come to the second half, but even the second half, that last 20, they were the stronger team. You know, that goal was coming. That equalising goal was coming. So they seemed to take a wee lull, or we picked up a bit. We get confidence for the goal after half-time to go 2-1 up. We gained a bit of momentum, as you do. But they just suddenly get going again, didn't they? And they were starting to pass us off the pitch. So I thought it was a cracking game, and they're a good team. They're a really good team.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Ralph, you did, before the game started, you had highlighted the news that the rumour that Toulouse were interested in the Motherwell manager. And we were all hoping that was an actual sign of things to come, Toulouse.
Well, I'd be surprised if there's not more than that in for him now. I wasn't nervous before the game because after watching the Motherwell Hearts game, I didn't think they were what they were cracked up to be. But after about 10 minutes of last night, I was panicking. I thought they were going to run us off the park in the first half hour. They were quicker, they were sharper, and they looked like they were thinking about what they were going to do as well. Like Hector just says, if there wasn't something on, they would just took it over the top. And when we went, the way they scored and went, I wasn't surprised. They are a much, much better side than I thought they were. And that's only the two games I've seen them in full, to be fair, recently anyway. They were much, much better. I thought we'd get a 7-0.
Goal, Ralph, their goal, any thoughts on their first goal? I think there's any Celtic that have done better.
Yeah, not played trusted. There's always that kind of thing in him. I don't know what he was trying to do. At first it looked like a deflection, but he actually kind of moves to block it and just makes an ass of it. But you can't dwell on that.
There's a trusted fan club complaining there, Ralph.
Yeah, you have to come back from it, and we did, and we kept in the game. But I wasn't confident at any point through it. At any point, and it wasn't because of what we were doing; it was because of what they were doing. So again, what Hector says, if he could do with a higher level of players, it would certainly be worth a gamble. And I wouldn't have said that before last night's game.
Well, this is it. And again, Monty, I know you might have not seen the game, but in the relative discussion of somebody like Askew taking Celtic, and a lot of people come along with complaints, as in he might finish fifth in the league now that Hibs beat Rangers last night. He might end up finishing fifth if Hibs beat Motherwell at the weekend. And people go, but look at that, that's no any use, or they've tailed off. But it's that actual having that raising of the standards. Suddenly you've got a better squad. Suddenly you can actually raise the actual tempo for every game. No, that sort of idea. So that would be a further challenge for him. But so far, he's certainly ticking every football box.
Well, the counter argument is Jimmy Thielen won Aberdeen a trophy. But I'm totally in sync with it.
Did he?
Well, he did.
Michael no win that.
He did a number on us. But I've seen us during the week. This is kind of just tangential to the question. During the week, we were linked very strongly with that guy Casper Ho from Bodo.
Yeah,
And I said apparently we're in the driving seat, but Hearts wanted him as well. And it got me thinking, just on the drive down last night, just in between trying to distract myself listening to Kneecap, if the Bodo manager, Knutsen, could be convinced, out of the two, who would you go for? Because Asku's team plays outstanding attacking football. Bodo play exceptionally effective football, and it's also quite forward, front foot and all that. But either of them are going to be a gamble. And my fear, Desi, is we're going to not do that. We're not going to pick either of them. We're going to resort to type. And I hope I'm wrong, but the colossal fuck up, I see Wilfred also raised his head today. He got quoted.
I didn't understand a word the fucking idiot said.
He's off the planet. But the colossal fuck up that was this brave appointment. For me, my fear is we're going to go back to Desmond picking an old established manager, especially if, God willing, an old established manager in O'Neill manages to turn this shit show around. So, Desi, I would love us to go for Askew. I would love us to go for Knutsen, one of the two. And you're totally right. Imagine, it's almost like Ange again. Only his feels just a wee bit more Askew, and what I've seen in Motherwell just feels a wee bit more controlled. Might actually be better for us than Ange is all out gung-ho. But I hope I'm wrong, Desi. I'd love to see him. I'd love to see him get a punt at a job like Celtic.
Apologies, folks. This was meant to be a looking back at last night's game, but now we're suddenly looking into the future. I just suddenly had a thought in my head, and Hector, you go on about it, the fact that the job he's done with players such as Stephen O'Donnell and Paul McGinn, etc. Can you imagine Liam Scales under Askew? It would be Beckenbauer. I mean, it could be Beckenbauer.
I know you're pretty you laughing. But see, at the same time, right? The big issue that all of us have got when Scales is in possession is he takes an eternity, in football terms, that is, to move it on, right? And he seems to just casually, no sprint, but go at a slow pace up the pitch, maybe 20, 30 metres, taking 5 touches, not all the time. Whereas that can be coached quite quickly by a very good coach. Askew doesn't play that way. He'd be saying to him, at your point, defenders split as they always do, and fullbacks are quite flexible, but either inverted or higher up. But it's touch, head up, pass. A pre-season training with him, right? And it would significantly improve him as a player. This isn't difficult. Because Scales is far better than their defenders.
Hector, can I ask, because I genuinely don't know the answer to the question, is Askew hands-on coach in there, or does he have a team with him?
He's got a team, but he didn't bring a group really with him. It's been him that's been doing the bulk of it, right?
Interesting.
And it's another thing about it is there was an article done recently where even at half time, he's got instructions from the players based on the first half performance where he goes around and says, right, the space here has not been picked up, or there's an opportunity here at half time. Brilliant. And you go, that's proactive. This isn't Celtic get meat on nothing. Fuck, you come on, you're subbed at half time, right, McCowan, you come off tonight. This is proper proactive coaching with, let's be honest, limited players. So I know we're going to, but we played them last night. We're looking for a new manager. It's a gift horse fucking staring you in the mouth, right? It won't be expensive, but suits the Celtic board. He's had a season here. He's transformed a really, really average Motherwell team to a really good team to watch with a threadbare squad on low wages at our level. It's like, what are we waiting on?
In my opinion, the dream team would be we keep Martin on to be his mentor for a year as being a Celtic member of the Celtic manager, because the pressure's unbelievable. I mean,
Director
you can go a few games.
Or chairman, Martin O'Neill.
No, whatever. Martin can be whatever Martin wants to be. Football mentor. He can
he wins the league, he can do what he wants, right? He can fucking do what he wants.
He could be the manager, but Jen's asking, he could do the coaching and he could just be the manager in waiting. And then we just have that. Remember those succession plans we always talked about? I mean, that would be my idea of a dream team, because Maloney could then go and sort the pathway out. I like Dan O'Day having a go at the pathway and seemingly forgetting that he was in charge of the pathway for a while the other day.
Desi, one thing, Monty asked the question, There is a guy on his backroom staff, Askew at Motherwell, and I'm sure he worked with Maloney at Wigan.
Right.
That came out, I don't know when I read that, maybe a week or 2 weeks ago. But Maloney was the player there under Martinez, funny enough, right? He'd also been linked, but he'd worked with Maloney at Wigan and they knew each other for, not like how you doing, but so I'm maybe overthinking it a wee bit. That was just a wee thing that caught my eye.
Okay, let's go back to last night's game. So we're 1-0 down. Motherwell are playing, as I say, Harlem Globetrotter style football, just nice and relaxed, but it's relaxed with drive. I mean, it's not as if they're just good. They're all getting 100%. They're all running about with direction. I mean, that's what. And then Super Maeda is clean through Hector, puts it past the post, and then he's clean. Then he manages to get the ball clean through at a more difficult angle and rattles it in the bottom corner.
Not just a more difficult angle. His first touch was sensational, which isn't his strength, right? And he's going to shoot his left foot. We're all probably think the same. He's going to hit the fucking corner flag. We all think the same thing, aren't we? And it just a bullet in off the far, just inside the post, wasn't it, to make it one-ish? Out of nowhere, really, wasn't it? Just bang, goal, and suddenly the atmosphere just picked up. But that's him, isn't it? But Desi, the thing as well is, amazing finish. Don't know if it's a handful of minutes later on, a Stonewall penalty.
I've just got my penalty here. So yeah, if you want to talk about that.
Well, the ball's played over the top. Either Engels or McGregor, one of the guys in midfield played it, and Maeda's onside, running back the way, and the little keeper comes right out, almost to the edge of his box, to punch the ball, which he does, but about half a second before he punches the ball, I think his knee goes into Maeda's back. It's as clear a foul as you'll ever see. The ref played on. Engels should have scored the wee dink with a lob, right? But it didn't matter. It was a Stonewall penalty. And it didn't even go to VAR. So that didn't bear a mention last night on the sports scene highlights. When Michael Stewart was obviously about to cry, right? We're way down in my estimations. I always thought he was one of these Jambo glasses.
We used to like Michael Stewart.
He's became the Hearts version of Kris Boyd, right? And the thing is, Boyd's thick, Stewart's no thick. He's just let his Hearts thing go here, which is a pity. But not a mention on sports scene last night. They mentioned when the Motherwell guy slipped. His foot just gave way. They showed you that. Not one bit did they show you Maeda getting kneed in the back. But anyway, Stonewall penalty. Absolute Stonewall.
It was one of those slight moments of, is he all right? I mean, because it was a clatter with the back, as you say. And it's like the classic old goalkeeper's knee up. And I don't mean they meant it by any means, but that goalkeeper pose of hands in the air and knee up, springing for the ball, and there's this guy taking the full force. So it was dodgy. So
it was looking at Maeda's face when he picked himself up as well. It was kind of a, why not? And I remember thinking, well, they're not going to give us a penalty. And because he had a shot, seriously, I thought that must have been maybe there was something else happened that I hadn't seen. And when Engels hit the bar, maybe it was just a case of, I'll play on. And do you know what? We'll not pull it back because he's all right. It was weird. It was kind of surreal, the whole that whole passage of play. Yeah, because it kind of slowed down as well, didn't it? And the Motherwell defender came away with the ball. And you're like, shit, there's something going on here. But
and he came out and the kind of play continued for like maybe a second or two, but it felt like 10 yards. And eventually the ref went, wait a minute, there's a guy in the deck here. But as if they were, it's not a head injury, let's just continue. It's a bit strange. Right, so Monty, I'm afraid I'm going to have to skip you for this next line, right? Because you never saw the game. That's purely, but don't worry, I'll come back to you in a second. But I need to come to Hector for this next agenda point. I've written some song lyrics. Nygren, get to fuck. Nygren, what the fuck? I mean, how can a guy manage to be so fucking perplexing?
Far be it from me to say anything, but did you know put a wee tweet out last night about Nygren being, in effect, being shite, right?
Plastic
by the way,
American Beauty had more
you were
impact.
right. No, you were right. And no one watching the game would disagree that once more, in general play, nothing. Actually, a man down. We keep talking this in midfield. How much work, Motherwell, the way they zip it about, how much he was leaving for Engels and McGregor to cover, because he just won't come back the 15, 20 metres and sprint and work hard. So we're all going, fucking get that lazy bastard off, right? And then as he does, he then gets the ball and just in the blink of an eye scores an absolute incredible goal from the edge of the penalty box. And he's one of the few players that could do that. He just seems to take a touch. It was like a very quick touch and bang, wasn't it? And the movement of the ball, the keeper did have a chance. Incredible goal, but that's him, isn't it?
It's like taking Tom Rodgick, but then blending him with Harold Bratback. No, that way it's like it's just the weirdness from Tom Rodgick, Tom Rongick. I was trying to go on last night, but it's terrible. As in, he was rotten. Again, that classic heading the ball the wrong way, playing the ball right out the park. No, that way. He
did the ball back to his own penalty box again, like he did at Hibs.
I'm saying this.
We're not shouting at Italian. We were going, get that fucker off.
To be fair, Ralph, maybe he was just overexcited because he'd been named in the Sweden World Cup squad. You know what I mean? So he's got in the World Cup.
It'll be interesting to see what another manager gets out of him. And maybe it's their own fault for just saying, oh, you just do what you do. And we're getting goals out of him. But that was 2 world-class goals in 3 days.
Yeah.
And, on the one hand, you think, no, we're getting spoiled here. And then, of course, Motherwell regroup and we'll look like nothing again.
Right. So we go to 2-1, right? So this is where my calamities start to kick in, because my fire stick started to falter. I tried to restart it, etc. So I was getting updates. So I gave Tongo a shout out earlier. I was literally getting updates on my phone from someone in Belfast. So kind of mirroring your travelling, Monty. I was basically trying to cover the game while trying to get my fire stick back working. So the last 30 minutes, so from 2-1, last 30 minutes, Hector and Ralph, I'll hand it over to you. I did come back for the penalty, but I'll hand it over to you to explain how it went for the last 20-odd minutes or so.
Well, Ralph, you go first, and I'll come in after you.
I thought we were tired. I thought that their movement and everything else wore us out. And that was kind of what led to their second goal. You could see, what's that phrase about tired minds making tired decisions and that? We did quite a lot wrong, and they kind of capitalised on it. And when the goal came, man, there was like 2 or 3 efforts before it went in. But we actually looked out of it at that point. And we're supposed to be fit and we're supposed to be up for it and everyone else. We didn't look like we could handle them.
You think Sunday, though, maybe took a bit out of the tank, Ralph? The mental and the physical side of it. Yeah, that's Sunday with all of that environment, and with everything riding on it, because is that 6 or 7 now? 6 or 7 games? 6 in a row.
It could. Yeah, of course it could be that. And what was going through my mind as well is that maybe the mentality of the players had given everything in that game against the Rangers, and mind that phrase about the mountain and the molehill.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought we only had to turn up. And we went really flat. But again, is that down to what they were doing to us? Because they're spreading the ball about quickly and we were chasing a lot. So it might be a combination of the two.
Sorry, Hector, I'll let you come in a second, but this taking my opinion on, I saw, say, 60 minutes of that game. And somebody mentioned, when we talked about a single word for the season, somebody said roller coaster. And last night's game was a bit of a roller coaster, because they seem to have a lot of energy for 20 minutes. Then we seem to have a lot of energy for, say, 20 minutes. And then by the time I get back watching it as well, you said they seem to have found a second wind and we didn't really have that second wind. And that's where I think Monty's point about the whole physiology, etc. And I'm always fearful of the adrenaline crash thing. So Hector, how did you see it? And I would also like to ask, what about the subs? Did you think the subs were correct?
Well, that was going to be part of the update, right? I seen it slightly different for Ralph. And what I mean by that is that when we went 2-1 up, I thought for the next 5 to 10 minutes we were dominant. And we almost get in a couple. In fact, it's a couple of bad final balls at their box, and we were in to make it 3-1. Taneki, again, a great opportunity. Then
I believe my tweet was, fuck's sake, Seb. That one right across the box.
And that wasn't the first half one, but this was more the second half. He got in, and it was and Ian Acho, Maeda. There was opportunities there, but just that wee final bit of composure, and we were through to probably make it 3-1, because it was man for man with Motherwell. So it was kind of 5 minutes for the team that made it 2-1. We made the 3 subs. Ian Acho come on, Rio come on, and was it James? Wasn't it James? Was that? I can't remember who the third player was that come on. And then again, 5 more minutes. So we had that 5 before the subs, 5 after the subs. We looked in control. But then you seen us.
Ralston came on, didn't he?
Yeah. We were just getting deeper and deeper, and we weren't passing it. We were clearing it quickly. And I turned around my youngest boy and watched it and went, need more composure here. They went man for man at the back. Just, take your touch, be a bit composed, and pick your pass and get in behind them. But we were getting deeper and deeper. And maybe some of it was nerves. Because the magnitude of the game, players have been living it. A must-win game for the last, 3-4 weeks now. And I wonder if part of it was that, part of it was tiredness, maybe your guys' point earlier on, or maybe just a mixture of everything. But then Motherwell, they get the second wind, and they were zipping it about, and they're such a good... It makes it even more difficult if you start to get tired legs or mentally tired with a team that's just zipping the ball about, right? You're chasing shadows at time. Stina Sala made a cracking save, went in the bottom corner. They had one other shot that took a deflection, the lucky one, and it hit the bar, and it was going to go in, and Stina Sala was behind the line and jumped out and stopped it going in, and that was just before they got the equaliser. But it was kind of coming. It wasn't a surprise when they scored. So that kind of took me up to, just about 90 minutes, I suppose, 87 or 88 minutes before the madness consumed 5 minutes later. Right.
So this is where I kind of come back in at, say, 90 minutes. I can't remember what exactly happened, but I was getting updates from my pal and Bill and my daughter just simply tweeted the word fuck's sake, or fucked it, right? She was fucked it. And my pal... That's fussing. She's
Young'uns.
Her mother's for the East End, that's what I'm saying.
Makes sense.
and then my pal tweeted fucked it, and I'm going, is it 2-2? Is it 3-2? And this is you're talking. So suddenly I'm thinking about the players. If it was 2-2, you suddenly get that. And I pinged my pal at 2-2. I went, just don't lose it in the last 5 minutes. And Hearts had just scored again. I think they'd went to like 3-0 or whatever. I was like, just keep 90 minutes to win it. Don't lose it in 5 minutes, kind of thing. And eventually my fire stick was back on. So Monty, I don't know whereabouts on your journey you are at this point. Have you managed to stop and avoid the traffic cameras? Are you getting live commentary at this point, Monty?
No, I couldn't, Desi. I genuinely didn't want to listen to it. I didn't want...
You're not driven back into Britain at that point?
Very funny. I'm not going to let that go.
United Kingdom, not Britain.
I'm pretty sure he is British. Is it not, Monty?
Don't get me started with this fucking better together mob again. You can't talk.
You better not let us down now, right? Now it's in the Welsh are fucking on my way. You better step up to the plate. Anyway,
no, in fact, that's a separate podcast. I had the same feelings of dread that you had, Desi, when it went to 2 each. I'm going, oh no. It's that psychological scar from fucking in O'Neill's first spell when Scott McDonald did the damage, and that's all I could think of. Going on, no. And I just say my sneaky little peek. I think it was going through Kells in County Meath. It was just a peek, and it said he's going to VAR. Celtic have a penalty. I don't know. Well, I can't. Don't want to know. So I was genuinely. I can't remember the last time I was so nervous in a game like Sunday. Sunday's game held no nerves for me. It was a free hit at them. I didn't think we were ever going to be in trouble. Last night, I hope I'm right, Desi. I've said consistently we have that Motherwell would be the kingmakers. If you think about it, they beat the Huns. They took 2 points off Hearts, and we've managed to get over the line against them. It's all down to, well, we're going to talk about it. It's all down to Saturday night.
Yeah, no, but perfect. This is so my fire stick, just to give you an idea of where I'm at this point, I'm trying to get one thing working in the telly. I'm trying to check my phone, various the Twitter feed. Hector, your feed seems to be 45 seconds in front of mine all the time. So I'm going, right, I don't want to look at that just in case. Gets the fire stick up. and the ball was up towards the Celtic corner flag, and whatever happened, Scales were involved, but it just kept kind of going, Scales, and the ball goes dead, something like that, and then it just kept rebuffering to Scales, and the ball goes dead, so I'm like, fuck, and I'm going down FHD, HDSD, trying to find, basically restarts, but by this point, I have no idea where I am in this game, like compared to real time, so I'm just sitting. So eventually the ball gets, so I'll let you take this over at this point, Hector. The ball gets punted up, but I'll just stop where I am, right? The ball gets punted up, and then it's like the ball falls away. Is it that? Was the ball, did it get for a corner? Was it a corner we got the penalty for a shy?
No, a throw.
A throw, was it shy? We get it for a shy, and then it comes in, and then that moment happens. But as I say, picture me sitting in my kitchen. I have no idea if the world's moved on 5 minutes. I'm not looking at my phone because I don't want to jinx it. No, in your head, you get all superstitious. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to check my WhatsApps to see if anybody's posted in the WhatsApps, or my family's pinged me, or my pals pinged me. So I'm going, fuck, and I'm ready. So as you say, Monty, the tension, I swear to God, my jaw was still sore the day, like 12 hours later, 24 hours later, still with the sheer tension of that game. So Hector, I'll let you take it over from the point of the shy coming in.
Aye, but just come back to your Scales with buffering. Your stream wasn't buffering, that was him taking 10 touches to fucking touch the ball and pass it, right? But getting back.
That's no way to talk about your vice captain.
I know. I'm on Liam. I know you want to have a few less. I'm joking. But see, for about 4 of those 5 minutes, we were nowhere near their penalty box.
Yeah.
And I think it was James Forrest had the ball, and did he not beat like 4 of them to take it down there? One of the few attacks we had. Anyway, we got the throw. We don't do many long throws, as you know. Don't know whether many can do them. Plus, Tierney was sub for Sriracha. He wasn't. I think he's one of the few guys that would do it.
So this quickly, you said that there. The weirdest thing is, we had about 4 chances of long throws during the game, especially in the first half, and every time the ball ended up back at our own keeper. And that way we were throwing it back 30 yards. The weirdest thing, carry on.
No. But I was with you just before I come to the penalty. I was thinking it's 2 each. We don't look like scoring. Hearts are 3-0. And I'm working out, and they're telling the TV as well, Celtic would have to beat Hearts with 3 goals on Saturday. So I was kind of mixed emotions, thinking if we push up too high, Motherwell score, it's done. Remember we spoke in the last podcast a few days ago, it's done. Yeah. So do we, wait a minute, it's not perfect, but if somebody said to you a few weeks ago, beat Hearts with 3 goals at home, 60,000 last, I was resigning myself to, I'll take it. Just take it, let the pressure build. So, but out of nowhere, the throw comes in. And there's obviously a connection, real time. First time you see a connection, and Trusty's down, kind of holding his face, ball's out, back out for another throw in. But the game's been stopped because of a head knock. Beaton's went over. He's not give a foul. But VARs want to check, and then gives Sky the chance to show you the replays, but it's for a distance, right? And it's clear that Trusty's been, an elbow. I'm being honest with you. I'm thinking there's no chance if it's an elbow, that's a penalty. 0, none. And I wouldn't have thought it'd be a penalty, right? It's just my personal opinion, right? It was taking a long time. And you're going, why is this taking such a long time for VAR? And they kept going to Beaton, and they're looking at him, and he's obviously on his microphone to VAR, to Andrew Dallas. And then they said, John Beaton's been shouted over to have a look. And you're going, no, for the elbow. Really? And then, out of the blue, it's not an elbow, it's a handball, and it's zoomed in. And you're going, that's a stone wall. No, but see, before Beaton's come back out of the VAR, you're going, that's a fucking stone wall penalty.
Yep.
His hands up above his head, right? His arms is actually up there above his head, and the ball's clearly hit him between the hand and sort of the wrist area of his arm. And you're going, that's a penalty. That could be a penalty. Yep. And then Beaton comes out, does the square, points to the penalty spot. And it was like, wow, here we go, fucking penalty. And then the Motherwell players aren't happy, as you expect, right? They're fighting for 4th and they've given everything. But it was chaos. And then the penalty box took about 2 minutes to clear. The players, unusual, they're all in trying to wind the Celtic players up. There's about 4 Celtic players there. Calmack's there, Scales is there, Trusty's there, Iheanacho. And part of it's to just hide who's taking the penalty. Well, it wasn't going to be fucking Scales or Trusty. It was going to take a penalty, was it?
To be fair, I said today, Big Scales, who was like Jon Snow in the Battle of the Bastards, as in, I'll get the ball, I'm standing on the penalty spot, you can all fuck off to all the Motherwell players.
But see, when the eventually all cleared, I think Trusty pulled one of the other players, told to get the fuck out the box. Goes to Iheanacho, and this is the bit. Don't be you, Ralph, right? Honest to fuck, you're absolutely. Do I look? Do I not look? Oh man, you know what I mean? Yeah. Saying to Desi just before we start recording, at our age, why this still does this to us at our age? This, you know what I mean? This is things that you think we're all families and kids and grandkids and some, and it's like, and yet our age, it's still you sweating, you can't look, you're shiting it, and then when Iheanacho's there, I just had a feeling he's such a cool guy that he was composed, but I wasn't expecting him to be that composed and just coolly side foot it in the bottom corner.
Yeah,
couldn't believe it.
I was saying to somebody the other day, like when Iheanacho gets it, I'm looking up and going, well, he's sweating. He's going to get sweat in his eyes. He's going to start to see and then when they put the ball down, it kind of moved a wee bit, and I went, that's going to the bar. Like every fucking nightmare scenario went into your head. And again,
I thought the referee was going to blow for full time before it hit the net.
Everything, the world pauses. I mean, like everything goes into Matrix bullet time, and then you're having to watch him step back, and then the keeper gets massive in our eyes, let alone what it's like in his eyes, and then it's this goal. That's in the goal where he's facing the goal, Ralph, and as Hector says, and I mentioned last week, would we sign Iheanacho for another year? But that's the sort of class that player's got, Ralph, that we needed. Would you have felt the same if Engels was stepping up to kick that ball? Or I had even. You know what I mean?
When obviously the penalties award and Scales had stood there with a ball and he's pushing people away, I thought, oh Jesus, no. You know, I thought, no. And then Calmack went over and spoke to him. And I thought, captain's responsibility, high pressure, he'll take it. And then Iheanacho went to take it, and I thought, no. Because everything he's done in the last 4 or 5 games has been minimal, but it's counted.
Clinical, I believe that word is clinical, Ralph.
Clinical then. So when he lined up to take the penalty, he hesitated, didn't he, before he hit it? And the whistle went, he hesitated, and I thought, Jesus, he's blown for full time. I didn't think we'd get the throw in. I thought as soon as he took that throw in, that would be full time. And I had this, I don't know if it's paranoia or whatever from years of experience, that I just thought it was going to go completely tits. But it looked like the goalie moved it the way. And he just put it where the goalie wasn't.
And just to give you an idea.
And of course, nobody's made mention of the fact that the Hearts player that handled the ball is actually the nephew, probably, of Michael Nicholson, a fella called Sam Nicholson.
Well, Hearts playing a lot last night. I thought it was Motherwell.
No, Hearts. Sorry, he used to play for Hearts.
No, but that's what I said. The only thing that could have made that sweeter would have been if it was Stephen Welsh who had handled it for Motherwell against Celtic. That would have been perfect. That would have been a perfect scenario. But just to give you an idea,
that's another thing for the coach.
As Ralph says, when Celtic go to take the initial shy, the commentator says, "This is it. This is the last. This is it. This is the last chance." And the ball goes in, and then from there on, the goal goes in. But again, like in between the whole penalty being questioned, awarded, the camera just kept going to the crowd. And Hector, as you say, like we're all old men. Everybody in the crowd is just standing with a total, what the fuck's happening? What the fuck's happening? Every now and again, you're cutting back to fucking Tynecastle. There's fucking Finney's there on the Park Century in their last home game and all that. And there was, I don't know if they were actually potentially going to get the award and getting the ceremony the stands out last night. But everybody's just going, what the fuck's happening? What the fuck's happening? And then eventually, penalty awarded, penalty scored, fair play to the ref. As soon as the penalty scored, he blows the fucking whistle immediately. No, like that way, I thought we're going to have 2 minutes.
I think the pitch invasion helped with that decision, didn't it?
Every now and again, you need your ultras. You know what I mean? So that was that. So the whistle goes 97 minutes or whatever, Hector. The whistle goes, and Scotland being Scotland, we all shook hands and then went home quite happily, acknowledging that the officials have called it right. Let's wake up and move on in the morning.
Yeah.
What happened next, Hector? Because I turned my telly off at that point.
Aye, so Sky had the two games on, but initially it was just going to be the Hearts game they were showing. Then obviously people were moaning, rightly so, and they put the second game on. But the pre-match was all on their main game, which was at Tynecastle. So they were all in the studio there, but they were going to Fir Park pre-game to talk to Sutton, interview Martin O'Neill, Askew as well. So, but then when it came to the games, the other channel had the Celtic game. But then as soon as that finished, it flipped back to the main studio at Tynecastle. So in the studio, Ela Barbara, she's fine, she's quite a good host. But she had John Robertson there, the ex-Hearts striker, cracking striker back in the day. He's Hearts mad. He's Hearts through and through. That's his team. So you know with him, he's gutted. And he was also played in 86 when they lost at Dens Park. So he's lived this. That's his team. You can feel for him how he's obviously devastated, doing. Paul Hartley, who was their captain for years, but Hartley's a big Celtic fan, as we all know, right? Mm-hmm. So, and then you've got the idiot Boyd, who's there.
Pantomime villain.
Aye, and we know a lot of it is, right? But last night it wasn't. It was, yeah. I would actually recommend anybody, if they get the chance, if Sky put it on or they can get a link to it, it's maybe 20-30 minutes to watch it, and you'll actually cry with laughter. He was so visibly upset, raging upset, and the thing that was wonderful about it all, right? They were showing you the penalty decision in the VAR and the ball coming in trusty. And Boyd sits there and goes, that's not a handball, he's clearly headed the ball. And he kept repeating this, kept repeating it. So much so that neither Hartley or John Robertson would disagree with him, because he was off in a complete angry rant and he wouldn't stop. And it got to the ridiculous stage where he convinced himself so much that it was a header and not a handball that he wouldn't see otherwise from it. He was fucking face was peeling, he was fuming. And I felt for Ela Barber, because she was trying to you could see her trying to get some sense, trying to get a conversation. But he'd taken over with his anger. And the other two were Robertson was coming out with a couple of comments. Hartley wasn't saying a great deal. I think he was just a bit fucking fed up next to Boyd. But I felt for her, because she wanted to get a considered view with other opinions on it. And he just completely went off in a rant. So it's wonderful watching him, but it was negative in terms of nobody would challenge the nonsense. Nobody strong enough would say, by the way, that's clearly a handball. It's not even up for debate. And that's the thing that's frustrating for many of us, that our game's been such, I know we've been shite this season, but for Scottish football, I suspect the competition, 3 teams this season, has raised it up in terms of people being interested. Last night only added to that with 2 games, and we get this 95th minute penalty. But them having conversations like that, and him just coming across like this bam pot, it can't help. And it was just actually embarrassing. Funny but embarrassing, is how I'd put it.
Your drunken uncle.
Well, that kind of surprises me with Boyd, because was it not just a couple of weeks ago when we were playing Hibs that he said you should accept the referee's decision and just get on with the game?
Trust in VAR. I believe the phrase
was it. Trust in VAR and trust in the process and all that kind of thing. It doesn't surprise me. He's been swinging for Hearts to Rangers, depending on which one had the better game all season. As to why, but
yeah,
he's doing his job. We're all talking about him.
Exactly. I was just about to say, I think he hams that up. That's his game.
Last night, Monty. No, last night. It wasn't the pantomime villain. It was. You'll see it.
He lost it. Yeah.
Finger. Oh, fizzing. No, the wee wink and the wee nudge.
Nah.
No. Off he went. It was fabulous.
I'm looking forward to that.
Can you imagine? Because again, it's not really happened to us for a long, long time. Can you imagine the kind of feeling they've got of euphoria? I know he's a Rangers man, no a Rangers/Kilmarnock man, no a Hearts man, but that's by cousins, they're still cousins. They're all there thinking, no, this is fucking in the bag. This is fucking looking good. There's a chance Motherwell might even score. And then, like, you see pictures of the Hearts fans. are the Hearts players and the Hearts fans all around, and one of the Hearts players has got like 3 fingers and 2 fingers held up as if, is it really 3 2? No, that way that whole the shocker, realising the whole shock outcome. But then it all started to get a bit surreal. As I say, I'm kind of following things on Twitter without actually watching the coverage sector. Certainly people were talking about you can't change the laws of physics. When a ball hits a hand, it cannot have such a trajectory. So then 2 boys go out with a ball and start hitting it with a hand, end up with over 2 million views on YouTube or whatever.
Desi, there's a great image that's come through today from the must be the cameraman for the media, the photographer, sorry, who take the photographs from behind the goal, and it's the one where it's from the Celtic, where we scored the winning goal. So the cameraman there, they take a photograph, and it shows you clearly that, as I say, it's not just the kind of the back of the hand it hits. It's more the kind of wrist and the wrist bone here. Mm-hmm. So he's went up, head up it, and it's went away.
And his hands are there.
And there's no debate. The thing about it is there's actually, I'm astounded, genuinely astounded that now the footage is clear, right? His arms in a totally unnatural area. It's up, not just on his face, it's above his head, right? And it clearly strikes him. It's a stone. See if that had been the other end of the pitch, and would have been gutted, devastated. But if that was a penalty, you'd eventually your common sense, you would go, well, why was one of our defenders doing that?
Yeah, remember.
Why did they do that?
It was a big Baldy done it years ago against Leon.
That's
remember
right.
The last 10 seconds, and it was like a penalty. You're like, what the fuck? What the fuck happened there? Stupid. Right. But you're astounded, Hector. Gary Lineker was astounded. Jeff, everybody in his dog started joining in. Apparently, Ralph, it's the worst VAR decision ever in the history of football, let alone Scottish football. Regardless of the fact that he had it in his hand, and as Hector says, the match photographer image from behind clearly shows a big space with the guy's hand, the ball in his head. That doesn't matter now, Ralph. It's just that was not a penalty according to the world, and VAR has.
Was Lineker not playing when Diego Maradona scored with his hand?
Yeah.
Would that not have been a bad decision as well? I think what they've done, they've watched Boyd having a rant, listened to Boyd, and they've all kind of jumped on the bandwagon. Again, it's all about viewing figures and hype and everything else. And when ultimately the dust settles and people will sit down and say it was a handball, what's the issue?
So
Alex Ray actually got to that conclusion today after all the ranting and all the madness, but I think he just summarised it perfectly. What's everybody been talking about, online? What's the lead story? McInnes' reaction at being put to him in his interview. The raw sort of emotion of that. And Sky have been angling and hoping for this for weeks, and they've got now what they wanted, the high noon fucking shootout on Saturday.
You mentioned McInnes there, Monty. I was going to just about to mention that. Just as you think the Boyd carry on, and I'm genuinely fucking raging, head about to explode. Then it goes over, let's go and have a catch up with Derek McInnes, post-match interview. Obviously, the first 2 or 3 questions are about Hearts winning, right? But you knew it was all geared towards the question about, so Derek, have you seen footage of the penalty Celtic were given? We talk about raging. Now, McInnes is another fucking raging fuck. And he's always got that torn, fucking screwed up face. Yeah. Look at that. Jim Jeffries, Derek McInnes. There's that.
A perfect Hearts manager.
Aye, yeah. You've nailed it, right? And it goes to him. Now, I genuinely thought, if I'm in his shoes, I wouldn't talk about it.
Don't take the bait.
Genuinely.
Yeah, don't take the
bait. It's not even being covered after the event. You would just go, look, we were expecting Celtic to win. Aye, it's a bit disappointing that so late they've got a goal, but all our focus told us at the start of the season we have to go to Celtic Park and get a draw or a win. We'd have grabbed it and been really positive. If he'd have done that, he'd have put himself in this fucking great position. Instead, he went the complete opposite way. He got tore into the officials. He accused Celtic of getting everything, even the fucking penalty for Park. Apparently, it was Celtic that was getting the benefit. No, it was us. It was us. But it's when he said, what was the word they said about the penalty? What was the one famous word? Disgusting.
Derek McInnes says his side are up against everybody after a disgusting penalty winner for Celtic.
And he was fucking raging. And it was the Kevin Keegan. It was the angry version of Kevin Keegan moment. Remember they were playing with Man United to win the league and Fergie get the mind games. I would love it. This was the angry version of Kevin Keegan. This is McInnes doesn't do happy stuff, right? This was the angry version. But for me, this is my Celtic glasses on here. His reaction, you want your manager to take you to a place where you're settled, you're focused on the event, you're calm, you know what's at stake, you've been great. They all have watched that. And if he's took that in the dressing room, which him being him, I'm sure he has done, I don't think as a player, that's what I would want, knowing I'm going to go to see 60,000 Celtic fans on Saturday. That's a mindset thing. That was really poor. And he did it against Motherwell as well. After the Motherwell game when they drew 1 each with the penalty nonsense. He was raging. So I think, and I'm not just saying this to try and, I want it helps. It's just based on what I've seen. And it was poor management from him, how he came across last night.
Yeah.
I think part of it, sorry, Desi. I think he's been playing the siege mentality card for a while now. He played the underdog card until it got played out. He's been kind of hinting that, decisions going against him. But there's also that bit of an experience. We've talked about it in the last few podcasts that, we have a manager who's walked the course a few times. Remember, Roll started talking about Schmeichel, and remember O'Neill kind of smiled. Oh, did young Danny say that? You've got that kind of dynamic now where you're right, Hector, an experienced manager in the heat of the moment knows exactly how to play that. But I'm not sure that it wasn't deliberate. I think he wants them wound up the fuck. But they're in uncharted territory come Saturday. And they've also got arguably, well, it is the more difficult task. You're away from home, 60,000 and all that. But they've the harder mental task. Because for them, they just need to not get beat. And that gets into your subconscious. You start stepping back. You think you can defend what you have. If it's, 0-0, 1 each, as long as that goes on, you'll start retreating back and back. And it's a very, very difficult place to be because you can't just switch on and off the levels of intensity. So I think McInnes is deliberately keeping these guys in that wound up, almost paranoid, fuck the world state. Yeah. But I'm hoping it blows up in his face, obviously, in about 48 hours' time.
But there's slight parallels, like we mentioned before, the Rangers game. There's slight parallels with kind of Rangers. We were talking before the Rangers game, and I had my doubts that Rangers could lift themselves after getting beat with Hearts. Like, there's just a slight bit in your subconscious that something's gone, and Rangers have now lost 4 out of 5 games in the split. And then seeing the Hearts players last night, that's a big mental blow, as Monty alludes to lift yourself, Ralph, to go again. I mean, look, great champions can always go again. We seem to kind of lose a wee bit of energy last night, but the mentality still somehow gets you through the game. We're used to having to face that challenge. They've never faced that challenge, let alone beat it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and it's not just that. It's certainly for McInnes and probably for most of the Hearts team, they'll not be in this position again. This is their shot at the title, shot at the title, literally, I suppose. A few of them might go on to join bigger and better clubs, but if you look at the way they were, they just won 3-0, set themselves up for the last game of the season where all they have to do is avoid defeat to a team they've beaten a couple of 3 times already. And they look devastated. When the camera was panning round them, they looked devastated. They looked like that was it for them. That was the end of the season. It had that kind of feel when you're watching them. Yeah. But in fact, all they need to do is come to Celtic Park. And I know it sounds easier when you say it. All they need to do is come and avoid defeat. And they've managed to do that pretty much every time.
No against
Martin.
Not against
Martin.
Have they not?
No. Not beat Martin O'Neill. Neither Danny Roll or Derek McInnes has beat Martin O'Neill this season.
And we were robbed at Tynecastle too. Remember, didn't we get a fucking real dubious decision against us up there?
So Ralph, can I just on the Martin O'Neill thing, right? Sky put up a wee thing last night about games, the table under Martin O'Neill. There's 2 spells this season, right? This is before the game last night. So now we've played 22 games with the league games with Martin O'Neill. 22 games. We've got out of 22 games, 56 points out of 66 points, right? Which is 14 points more than Rangers. Martin O'Neill, 14 points more than Rangers and 13 points more than Hearts in 22 games. That's Martin O'Neill.
I thought Danny Roll would have won the league if it started when he came in.
But that's the thing we'd mentioned with Martin O'Neill playing Rangers and playing Hearts. This isn't the Wilfred Noncy spell when Motherwell demolished, we discussed in the podcast the other day, demolished us. Huns beat us 3-1 and Hearts beat us 2-0. That was all Wilfred, the League Cup final in that wee fucking 6-week chaotic window. Martin pre that and post that bar, Tannadice, I suppose the home loss to Hibs with 10 men again when fucking penalty denied. Remember that one where Scales was fucking pulled down and it went to the review a week later. Oh, still more. But anyway, we don't discuss these things. But it shows you Martin was miles ahead. Just in miles ahead of these other clubs and his spell in charge.
There was one other stat that I seen, Hector, last night that went along with that, and it's one I'm hoping. Well, if it plays out, it's okay, but I'd prefer that it didn't. I'd prefer a more comfortable sort of afternoon's viewing. But up at the 82nd minute, somebody put a chart together of games under O'Neill, and there was 30 points that we have gained under O'Neill, and at the 82nd minute, we were only sitting on 9 of them. That there's a 21. We've gained 21 points from the 82nd minute onwards. Last night is the case in point. We gained another 2 from that moment on. It's fucking mad.
Do you suspect Dermot's maybe got shares in a anxiety pill?
Fucking Polymarket fucking stressing, something. So that when you add that, that was O'Neill's. That was one of O'Neill's traits in his first time here. His teams always went, and it's a Celtic thing. We keep going until the end, but I would love it to be just a hell of a lot more comfortable. I'd love us to do a 6-2 on them, like we did in his first spell. Just fucking blitz them in the first 15-20 minutes.
So we go to Saturday's game now?
Yes, that's what I was going to come to. So I've got it written here. So again, thanks for mentioning it. I did have the surprise voice of reason, Alex Ray. Someone from the East End talking sense for a change. He was in my wife's class at school, Hector. So I've got Derek's decision time. Hector, you are the resident tactician. You are Derek McInnes. You've got the same beard I can see. What do you do?
Yeah. Well, Hearts tactics, we must have all seen Hearts tactics by now, right? Big, strong, physical team, pretty solid most of the time. Not the quickest at moving the ball to feet through the midfield. They'll do it. They'll try and play a few passes, but it's no very, very quick. And invariably it involves a ball pretty direct to Shankland to try and hold up, or flick on and Braga to normally play off him. Sometimes he plays the Greek boy out wide. He was really good at the start of the season. He's been in and out of the team recently. But they're pretty much a 4-4-2 team. That's how they do it. Pretty strong, all areas. Their strengths are set pieces, corner kicks, free kicks, winning second ball. They're strong. They're very good at that. They won't deviate from that. That's how they play. If they want to make it a football match, we'll beat them convincingly. They won't. They've got their style. So that's what I'm expecting on Saturday, Desi. I don't think we've got to come out the traps flying on Saturday. Flying. No keeping them at the back for 5-10 minutes to settle up the game. No. Celtic Park's going to be absolutely jumping. Think back to last Sunday's game against Rangers, Desi. I'll actually say, going up to the game, the game's about to start, it's going to be absolutely electric. Obviously, we don't know what the result's going to be, but at that point, it's electric. We've got to take on that energy for the fans, and the team's got to go at them. A really fast start, keep the fans. They will be involved, but keep them really involved. Put Hearts under pressure. They've not heard this before. Really get at them. Get the, when they're taking a throw down at was booing, the noise, make the noise erupt. But we've got to work with the fans and keep that high energy, that high level of energy. Because if we do that, it only makes our chances of winning even greater. So if we start slowly, I'll be so disappointed. Start quickly, get at them.
Okay, Ralph, are you coming up? Are you hiding behind the couch? What's the plans for Saturday?
Hey, I think there's a Star Trek omnibus on one of the channels, so I'll be watching that and maybe just read the Sunday papers to see exactly what the referees did wrong in the case that we might win again.
Don Robertson and Kevin Clancy is on VAR as the ref for Saturday's game.
Hector's absolutely spot on. We need to just get at them. They'll be sitting there thinking, as things stand, they're champions. So will they try and protect that? And I would have thought they would do. And maybe, like you say, with the big lumps up front when they get a chance to break out. That's what I think, because McInnes isn't what you would call an imaginative manager, and he's not a shrewd tactician.
He had at Aberdeen and come on.
Yeah. The only thing he might do is put somebody on McGregor, which has been effective for him in the past. And maybe try, the old everything Celtic do goes through McGregor. So if I take him out of the game, then, they're in my chance. Again, no, there's all that sneaking thing. This is their shot at the title, their shot at glory. And maybe they will go for it. If they do that, we'll tear them apart because they'll be doing something they're not used to doing.
Yeah. Pitch at Celtic Park. Sorry, Monty, guys. Just for comparison, the pitch at Celtic Park, in terms of the width of it, the playing surface compared to Tynecastle's night and day. It's far wider. It's perfect for a team wants to zip it about. Tynecastle allows them to put the long throw after long throw in the box. A far more narrow pitch than Tynecastle. So that's one of their strengths as well. They'll still do it for the weekend, but sorry, Monty, that was one of their things.
No, I think that 6-2 analogy from O'Neill's first spell with the Huns. And really going at them. I would sense that either Devlin or Beningame, if he starts, one or two of them will get caught up in this and get sent off early. Because that atmosphere, none of them will have ever played in an atmosphere like they're about to step into on Saturday, where our boys have multiple Champions League games under their belt, or European games, where the atmosphere, and the games against the Huns. So there's that psychological, the blow. Like I think someone did a little video or found a video of them packing up the, Hearts champions 26-27. Now, like it's a one-off, and like one of our guys could fucking blow up, make a stupid mistake, and he's off. There's so much riding on just cool heads, calm. But the counter to it is, as you say, Hector, to really, really go at them. It's controlled aggression. And if you walk through our team, Scales, Trusty, yeah. Tierney, yeah. Johnson, yeah. They've all been the course. You go in the middle, McGregor, been there, done it. Engels, been there, done it. Negrin, no, he hasn't won. Yeah, but he doesn't tend to do an awful lot of work anyway, so he's grand. Yang, been there, done it. Kaneki hasn't done it yet. I wouldn't be surprised if McCann starts, by the way.
Forrest, I think Forrest will start.
Or Forrest.
Tarek will come on. He's a better sub to come on the last half hour.
And you know what you're getting. This is Dyson's last game at Celtic Park. This really could be his fairy tale if he can step up. But I would love us, Hector, to come out gung ho. I suspect we're just going to be a wee bit more measured in our aggression.
Yeah, it might be very much the two heavyweight boxers jabbing at each other for the first 4 or 5 rounds. But again, if we can release Dyson, because they'll be terrified of him. And who's their big defender that's it? It's not Halkett.
Halkett, yeah.
And Leonard's out as well in the middle. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we've got a chance of exploiting that. It's just we just have to
just do our thing, Desi. Just do our thing.
But again, I'm talking about Maida, but the main man for Saturday for Celtic is Martin O'Neill. I mean, Martin O'Neill can win that game in the dressing room. He's the mountain that McInnes has to climb, Hector.
Aye, and the thing about it is, again, because we've had a lot of podcasts recently, But we're spoke about momentum. And it is a thing, momentum. We were grinding out results and we weren't playing great, but we're winning. Then suddenly there was a wee bit against Falkirk, a wee bit of performance came in against it, then a big bit of performance against Rangers. Went to Fir Park. That was a good team. We all knew that. This isn't a surprise. I think they've been the best football team we've played all season domestically by a distance. But we won. We won. So confidence will be absolutely sky high with the players. And they're going home on Saturday. They're at home and they know what they're going to at Celtic Park. The chance in front of pretty much almost 60,000 Celtic fans to win the league, which there's nobody, none of us, being honest, other than the most, blinkered of Celtic fans, thought was possible after the loss at Tannadice that month or 5 weeks ago. So to get to this stage, where we're guaranteed Chelsea qualification football, I thought was a fucking big tick compared to where we were, right? We also stopped them potentially getting automatic access to the Champions League, Rangers that is, because they were with their coefficient points. So that was a big thing. We'll go to the cup final next Saturday. Even that was probably in doubt. Went to Ibrox, the quarter final with a B team, pretty much, right? But keep grinding and grinding. And I just think it's a wave of emotion in a positive sense. And you're right with Martin O'Neill. If it's a younger Celtic manager, it might be a bit different. He's been over the course and ground. He knows the words to say, both in a calming down perspective to certain players, because other players need that motivation.
Wind up.
That's just a team, isn't it? A team with different skill sets and different buttons you need to press. And I think he'll want a fast start. He'll want to tap into that energy. If we can start really well, put them under pressure and get a goal in the first 15 minutes, I think we could go on and win with a bit to spare. But anything else, they're not going to be easy. They should be fighting for their lives, as in the football sense, their chance to create history. For them, this is enormous. I hope nobody writes them off. They've been really consistent all season. They'll fight for each other. We've got to go and win it. We've got to go and make it happen and play well. If we play really well, we can win with a bit to spare. I think we will win on Saturday. I think we'll win with 2 goals Saturday. I think we'll do it.
Is there an end to a fairy tale coming, Ralph, or a potential nightmare?
You really wouldn't want to say, speaking from
we would have just asked you.
No, you wouldn't want to say, because I genuinely don't know which Celtic's going to turn up, which Hearts is going to turn up. However, we've not had a 7-0 win this season. And we usually get one.
Welcome back.
We usually get one. So I think we'll win with a bit to spare, and I think it'll be one of those kind of party days and everybody happy and cheerful. And Derek McInnes will make a speech at the end saying that the better team won. And, next season will be one to look forward to. And the cup final before that.
Okay.
Do you know, to go back to that, what you're saying about Martin O'Neill, if you go back to the Rangers game, when we get a wee bit excited and he stood at the side telling everybody to calm down, that I think might be a major factor on Saturday, because he's not one for micromanaging, but I think he will be watching how players are reacting and what they're doing and just telling them to keep the heat.
Okay. From my perspective, before we come to Monty's optimism, I'll give a dash of my realism in. I think Hearts will score first.
Negative. Here we go.
I am not. Listen. If you saw my points here, I did say Motherwell would score the other day. I did say it would concede goals in all our games. I think Hearts will score first, and I can just see somebody like Scales are trusty. It's exactly as you said, Hector. Get in for a tackle with Shankland, with his back to goal. He hits the deck. They get a free kick. Float it. It goes across the box a few times. The usual palaver somehow ends up in the net, and then the crowd will come into it. So then the crowd will lift Celtic. I know that they'll know, but Hearts will score. The crowd will lift Celtic. We'll get an equaliser. We'll go to 2-1. And I have this written in my notes. My dream scenario is the whole of Celtic Park singing "Cheer Up, Derek McInnes." I mean, does fucking be there at 2 o'clock on Saturday singing "Cheer Up, Derek," and he's right in front of me. Just singing that would be fucking delightful.
Yeah.
And then we get the victory. That's it. So that's me. If they'll score, it'll be awful. But again, like Rangers scored, as Hector, Rangers scored in the stadium. We're like resolute. We didn't turn on the players or fucking lose it. We just thought, here we go, and they get right back into it. And I think that will happen again. I can see them scoring first, but we can have enough to actually equalise, then go ahead. So I'll go for 2-1 again, but I think we'll win it without having to panic too much. But that'll be my delight. If we can sing that to Derek McInnes, that would be lovely. Monty, what do you think?
Well, clearly, obviously, I want us to win. But I think Saturday, for what it is a no-lose situation. Go with me on this. We've never strengthened or pushed on from a position of strength. We've never done it. We've never cleared the house out properly whenever the shit hit the fan either. So if we win this, like, O'Neill deserves a statue. We are going to go into this new version of Celtic next year anyway. And I think all the stuff that kicked off, it's all gone very quiet now because it's the right thing. Changes in the executive team, the changes around the club, the rebirth of Celtic. It's going to happen anyway, Desi. My fear is that we've got Champions League football now. So Michael's checking a box and he's delivered on a KPI. And I really hope that change happens. It's not personal to him. And I don't want to take it away from our focus is on O'Neill and the players.
What's your prediction for the game?
I haven't got there yet.
Welcome to Egghead. Once again, Eggheads.
If you're not, well, I'll tell you what. All right, then I'll give you a prediction. But if you're not thinking that, if you've been blinded by this, you're giving fucking Wilson another hand job like you did in fucking Madrid.
Watch the Celtic half game.
Take Brian Wilson's balls out of your hands just for a second, and hear me out. Just because it's your buddy's fucking grand plan and we've got unity. If you're not thinking negative, 3-1 Celtic. 3-1 Celtic.
Don't get him record these shite and put on another podcast somewhere.
Right, so yeah, so it would be nice.
I know your point. Sorry, Desi, right, Monty. No, and we do. I get what you're saying, right? So number one, we all want to win on Saturday. Of course we do, right? I think what you're kind of saying that if we lose at the time, we'll all be fucking really down. But they could, but in terms of the boardroom, getting it for how they've behaved, their lack of fucking vision, the lack of communication, they'll get it in the next so much if we lose on Saturday. So I think you're trying to see maybe a positive in that. But I honestly, mate, I wouldn't be cheeky with you, but winning Saturday, one.
Oh yeah, that's all.
One game at a time, right? Let's.
Only thing that matters is winning.
A wild card prediction. Ralph, what do you think? Wild card prediction, a referee or VAR decision. What will it be? As in, what do you think? What sort of wild card prediction for a referee or a VAR issue?
I have a feeling that Hearts are not going to get any favours, even though we could say they've always been against us. I think what McInnes has said, and he's even named them and how he's going to go at them, that they're not going to be kindly disposed towards him. As much as they hate us, they hate him as well. I would love to see us get a player centre half and win 4-2, but I think we've already seen that film.
No nerves. No nerves.
Nice. Again, Ralph touch mine's as Derek McInnes getting sent to the stand. That would be lovely. I could sing again. I could sing
if he's not been suspended or banned before that, because I believe
if we're horsing them,
comments.
Yeah, if we're horsing them, he will get sent off. Desi, you're absolutely right. If we get on top and give them that same choke that we give to the Huns in the 6-2 game, he will. He will
feel it in the last 5 minutes, Monty. Because again, if you imagine if it goes like one each into the 85th minute, Hearts are going to regress to as far back as they put. I mean, they'll have 9 guys in the 18-yard line.
Yep.
On doing it every opportunity, and then that Celtic never stop psyche goes into everybody in the whole stadium, everybody's mind. It's just that ball's going to go into the box at some point. You know what I mean? And it's just, I'm not saying it's going to result in a winner, but it must. Oh, the pressure! Imagine the pressure on, like, it was bad enough on the Celtic players, but on the Hearts players at that point. I mean, if it gets to that point with 10 minutes to go and you're all you've got to do is defend whatever you've got at that point, a draw or a league win. That would be real.
Real, yeah.
But if they get a late penalty, we're winning 2-1. They get a late penalty, which is contentious enough, and they score. But it's chalked off because a couple of the Hearts players ran into the box. So they take it again and they miss it. That would be funny.
Oh, but perfect. Then Derek McInnes, this thing flows like something out of
That would be like that movie where people
this spontaneously combusts.
There'd just be a grey beard and a pair of brown brogues left on the side.
A badger carcass is just left at the side of the bucket. That's all you've got. That would be nice.
Badger carcass and brown brogues.
I did have one more thing question here. I don't know if any of you have noticed Southampton are playing Hull in the playoffs, and there's a whole Southampton Spygate. Have you saw that? Somebody spying for Southampton. Yeah. Well, we can exclusively reveal at E-Times there is a conspiracy, a Spygate conspiracy, because a member of a certain podcast was spotted at Tynecastle this week. I don't want to say what podcast it was and what individual it was, but I know it wasn't Ralph, I know it wasn't Monty, and I don't think it was myself. But I won't go any further into those details. But there's a story about to break. There's a story about to break there,
and it will be revealed in a future podcast.
Yes. So this is it. This is it. We've got 48 hours, as Eddie Murphy would say, to get a result. So fingers crossed. Come 2:00, 2:30.
A few sleepless nights tomorrow night.
Sorry?
A few sleepless nights tomorrow night.
Yes. Oh, excellent.
Well, technically, you can only have the one sleepless night every night.
Good luck to Glen Thistle, who are playing a cup final in East Kilbride tomorrow. They won the treble last year and they've got a cup final tomorrow. So best of luck to them. That would be a nice start to the weekend if Glen Thistle can win that tomorrow night.
And Armagh Ulster final on Sunday, Desi. I'm sure you'd give a good shout out for the Orange Men.
Well, for my fellow Brit to another Brit, I'm happy to do that for you, Monty. No problem, mate. No problem. Good luck to Armagh.
For the Northern Ireland Championship.
Any table tennis happening up in the suburbs, Hector, that you would want to give a shout out for?
Golf season now, Desi. Golf season.
Pickleball.
Only football that matters in Scotland. You know that.
That's
only football that matters.
Okay, so there we go. The only last thing I had was for you to give us a review of the Fenian LP, Monty, given you got to listen to it last night. You of course being a famed musician who was on the Steve Lamacq playlist for.
That's true.
Stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Phenomenal album. Great. You can see, you get a sense that they're kind of growing up in their music as well, Desi, but it's genuinely brilliant. Fenian is a banger of a tune. Irish Goodbye is a fucking brilliant little rap song, and the backstory there is beautiful.
I think we might hear it at the weekend.
Oh, fantastic.
So I think the Fenian is going to be the Ultras are going to pick that up.
Got to.
Right. If it's no Saturday, I'll be there for next season. It will definitely, because it's such a even them shouting Fenian.
Just a chant.
And it's the way it is. It's brilliant. So I think that'll be. You'll hear a lot of that next season.
Could you sing that to the tune of Cheer Up Derek McInnes? That would just be the perfect world for me. Right, well, there we are, folks. Thank you for bearing with us with these multiple podcasts. It will not happen again. I do not think so. This has been a one-off season. We will resort to maybe one post next week between the league, Touchwood, the League One, and the Scottish Cup final. Hopefully we'll be back for that, or just after the cup final. All right, just left for me to say thank you very much to Ralph Mal. Thank you, Ralph.
Cheers, thanks very much.
Thank you, Monty C. Burns. Thanks, Monty.
Thanks, Desi. Thanks, lads.
Thank you, Hector Bandido, who's called Andrew Dallas CSC tonight. We never even touched on that. Andrew Dallas and John Beaton being Celtic heroes. What's the fucking chances?
The world's gone mad. The world's gone mad, isn't it?
What a season! What a season! Even Stephen King could not have scripted that happening. The John Beaton Rangers Supporters Club, the Crown, have apparently disbanded. I saw that on Twitter earlier. Official John Beaton Rangers Supporters Club. And again, Ralph, you never got to say cheerio to James Tavernier. That was disappointing. Poor James never got to walk.
I know we shouldn't really be finishing on
3 pages.
I haven't seen that yet. I'm looking forward to reading that now with a cup of tea.
And at the end, he put WATP.
Oh, did he?
And we are third place. Just remind them of the failure you've been.
All it needs was simply the best. No, that's all it was missing, simply the best. But yeah, it's a class. It's a class read. You get the kids and everything in it, Monty. You'll love it. You'll love it.
Looking forward to it.
Centre alignment. I don't know why everybody releases things in centre alignment. But it's 3 pages. His send-off notes 3 pages. And basically Danny Rowe fucked him. That's all. He could have wrote that. Danny Rowe fucked me. That's exactly what happened.
TLDR. Danny Rowe fucked me.
That's it. Right, we'll let it finish. Thank you very much, folks, for listening. Please like, subscribe, send in your comments. We always like to see them. And we'll be back, as I say, after hopefully we win the League Cup fight. They'll win the league, and then we'll be back before the cup final. All right, my name's Desmond. Good night.
It's incredible. And there'll be serious questions asked about it, and rightly so.
Big Tams of the Gallowgate are proud to sponsor the E-Tims podcast for season 25-26. Are you shitting bricks? Are you having trouble sleeping at night? Do you have nightmares that include an angry badger? Fear not, we have soothing Martin O'Neill super night nurse in stock. Big Tams, calming excited Celtic fans down since the last game.